Good morning, students of Senior One. Today we're basically continuing the chapter we basically started in the last video, trade. So let's continue from where we left. Exports and imports. Now, what are exports and imports, students? Exports are basically goods that you sell to other countries, okay, and from which you basically earn revenue. That's called exports, whereas imports is basically goods that you buy from other countries, and for which you basically pay them. That's called imports, okay. Now, what are the major exports of Pakistan? Now, major exports of Pakistan can be classified into three categories, I believe. Okay, the first category basically is primary commodity. Primary commodity basically means raw materials. Okay, anything which is in its rawest form is called raw materials, and they are also called primary commodities, such as raw cotton, fruits, vegetables, leather, fish, all of them in the raw shape. Now then it is processed food. Now, processed food, what is that? Processed basically something that has been processed from raw material. Now, it's not the finished product, but somewhere in between. Now, for example, a cotton is processed into a cotton yarn. Now, we cannot use cotton yarn. Cotton yarn is then used to manufacture clothes. So it's something in the middle. Processed goods are something in the middle, okay. And finally, it's manufactured goods. What are manufactured goods? There are ready-made garments, carpet, rugs, sports goods, surgical instruments, and all of those things. They are manufactured goods. They are in their final shape and they are ready to be used for what they are. Okay, so three kind of things are basically exported by Pakistan: raw materials, processed goods, and manufactured goods. Now, Pakistan generally is an agriculture country, and historically speaking, the majority of exports of Pakistan were primary goods. As per 1974-75, it states that 48% of the total exports of Pakistan was primary goods. However, this has changed. Now, up to 70% of Pakistan exports account for manufactured goods. Is that a good thing? Yes, it is. Why? Because if you sell a raw material, okay, it goes for a very small price as compared to manufactured good. For example, if I'm going to sell you a cotton yarn, okay, एक cotton yarn मैं आपको बेचता हूँ, how much will I sell it for a very low price. However, if I use it to make a garment, if I sell you a shirt, now shirt will go for a reasonable price, okay. So that's something that majority of the countries are doing. Pakistan has been doing it as well. We do not sell raw materials anymore. We basically process it into, and we manufacture it into a manufactured good, and then we sell it. What it does is that it actually increases the revenue, as it is shown in the last few lines of the para, that a revenue has increased multifold due to this selling of manufactured goods. Now, dependence on few export items. The thing is that we basically trade with a lot of countries, up till 106 countries. However, we don't export to many countries, okay. And even the countries that we do export it to, we do not export a large variety of goods. Our majority exports are cotton, leather, and rice, which accounts for 61% of the total exports. Now, the problem with it is that, first of all, majority of them are raw materials. Now, cotton is a raw material, rice is a raw material, okay. They're not processed nor manufactured goods, so we cannot earn as much goods or as much revenue for it as we can or as we should. And second of all, the problem with depending on few export items is that if something happens, God forbid, for example, if there's a cyclone, or if there's a crop, if there's a crop disease. Now, majority of them are crop related products. If there's a crop disease, so we will basically lose our majority exports and we'll be in a state of flux. So basically, as a country, you should be able to widen your horizon as it in case of export items. ठीक है, ज़्यादा export items हो ताकि आप कुछ पे depend ना कर सकें. So if something bad happens to one export item, you can basically rely on the other export items to earn you revenues. Okay. Now, direction of imports. Now, exports. Now, majority of the countries we are told we trade with we do not export to many. The majority, up till 27% or 27.2% of exports go to 5 countries, which are USA, Germany, UK, China, and UAE. Now, what's Pakistan's position in the global market? It says that Pakistan is not a major trading player. It accounts for about 0.10% of the world's exports, which is nothing, which is basically nothing. 0.10% is nothing. We need to work on that, and we are working on that. Inshallah, we will get better. So, but Pakistan is, we are told, is actually a big player in certain markets. For example, when it comes to Pakistan's textile clothing, we share about 2.6% of the market. For rugs and carpets, we share about 15.31% of the market. Okay, for fish products, we share about 0.4% of the world market, which definitely can be improved. And with the opening of Gwadar port, inshallah, it will improve. Okay, we are basically told by exporting value-added products, by exporting value-added goods, a stronger position in the international market can be achieved. Our focus now should be on value-added products. Value-added products basically means manufactured products. Okay, not raw materials, but actually manufactured products, so that we can actually earn a reasonable revenue from it. Okay, now if we talk about imports of Pakistan, well, Pakistan imports multiple things. If you look at page number 189, we are actually told that we import petroleum, fertilizers, textile, which are basically synthetic fibers, metals, food, and many other things. Now, our imports can be classified into three types of goods. First of all, are capital goods. Capital goods basically means machinery, heavy machineries. Okay, basically machineries. Then there is consumer goods. What are consumer goods? They are basically used by the consumer. For example, shampoo, soap, toothpaste. We actually, we use international products as well for ourselves, L'Oreal and all that. So these are consumer goods as well. We import wheat or many of the eating foods from outside as well, like fruits and all that. So these are consumer goods. And then there's raw material. Raw material for capital goods and raw material for consumer goods. We basically import raw material. For example, we import iron, we import many other kind of metals, so that we can basically use it to manufacture machines made in Pakistan. So these are raw materials for capital goods. And raw materials for consumer goods basically means that we import edible oil, we import sugar, wheat, all that, so that we can use it for consumer goods in Pakistan. Now, I actually remember one of my friends used to import sauces, used to import potatoes from outside, and basically he used to use it for his French fries. He basically owned a French fries shop. Okay, and he used to import potatoes from outside because of their good quality. Okay, so these are raw materials for consumer goods. This is an example of raw material for consumer goods. Okay, now Pakistan initially was a heavy importer of consumer goods, we were told, but now we have basically reduced it because we ourselves have, experienced industrialization. However, a large chunk of our imports still is basically capital goods, and we can basically cover that up by, focusing on our capital industry, by improving our capital industry. Okay, again, we are basically told, if you look at the last page 190, we are basically told that the import bill has increased a lot. Why? Because first of all, the demand in Pakistan is a lot. Population has increased, industrialization increased, so there's a lot of demand for such products in Pakistan. So, and we are not making it ourselves, so we basically have to import it from outside. This basically increases our trading bill. We have to pay more so that we can get more. Direction of imports, we are basically told that although we trade with multiple countries, more than 100 countries, up till 30%, 30.2% of the imports come from 6 countries like Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, USA, Japan, Germany, and UK, and they include multiple kind of goods. We import oil from Saudi Arabia. We import heavy machineries from USA, Japan. We import medicines from UK, Germany, and also we import consumer goods. So all of these we basically import from these certain countries. Now this is it. Okay, I hope you have understood it. I've been very brief. I want you to read it from yourself as well. And if you have any questions, concerns, you can always get back to me. All right. Thank you then. Take care. Allah Hafiz.